Well, we've never had a public alien invasion,
Not
at least,
to my knowledge.
at least that we know. I think people would be really surprised about the legal power that a government would have when a state of emergency like that is declared. They need to do what they have to do to keep people safe.
Aliens are invading the world, and the only people that can stop it are the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and your local cable guy. No, I'm not having a stroke. That is the plot of today's episode. This is Doug Defends the Show, where a real lawyer defends a fake movie. I am Billy Business. This is my very real lawyer, Mr. Doug Ridley.
Yes, and happy birthday.
Happy birthday to us.
To us. This is our 1-year anniversary.
What is this, the paper anniversary?
I think so.
Yeah.
So I'll write you a note.
Thanks. I love sweet little nothings from you in my lunch. It is our 1-year anniversary, but it's the 30th anniversary. 30 years of the movie we're talking about today, which is 1996's Independence Day. Known as ID4 for reasons I'm not sure why.
Right. I mean, it's not even the initials.
No, Independence Day 4. Maybe if they made 4 of them,
maybe?
It would be.
No, ID4. I mean, but nobody really questioned it at the time.
I was like, yeah, ID4.
So the thing that I remember the most about this movie translates into 3D printing, translates into a model that I intentionally decided not to make. And I'm going to be very vague about this because I don't want to be arrested.
Okay.
So the most classic scene in the movie that they used for the trailers, that they used for the posters, we're not going to even discuss or mention.
We're just going to have it quietly sitting behind your right shoulder.
No. So, that's right. Yeah. The cover of the VHS.
Yeah.
So we're not going to talk about that because it's a destruction of property. And right now, where we are in the world, sometimes those sorts of things are taken as threats. But I found a 3D model that imitated the VHS cover.
I feel like that would be a really big print, though.
But well, I mean, not a life size. I mean, it was a little small,
not life size,
and it had
the size of more.
It had like had like a little filament that went down the center of it
like
that lit it all up,
Yeah.
just like behind us. And I was like, oh, this would be so cool to print. I'm like, I am not printing this.
No,
I am not going to bring this
idea.
into the show.
Yeah.
But the destruction of large properties in this movie was I think it was the thing that was the most crazy, disturbing, amazing about this movie, and they did such a good job with it too.
I mean, the spaceship hovering over different cities.
Yeah, like New York. My gosh,
New York, even like London and stuff.
Yeah.
I remember those were like a lot of the teaser posters.
Yeah, the shadow,
and they were like geographic. Like wherever you were, there was like a poster with a big alien ship over it. This was, to me, I know it wasn't. I am telling you, I know it wasn't. I'm saying for my life, this to me was the first like blockbuster.
Okay.
This was my first awareness that like a movie was coming out and people were waiting in massive lines to go see it.
Yeah.
Fresh Prince was a huge thing. Will Smith was just coming off that and Bad Boys. So this was like this was kind of like, I'm not going to say the start because I think Bad Boys was officially the start, but like this was where he asserted like Will Smith was the king of summer.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
No question. This was his first King of Summer movie.
Yeah.
I mean, no question about
and
that.
And then Goldblum, I mean, he had The Fly, he had Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
I mean,
it
had like a stellar cast. You had Judd Hirsch as the dad, which as I get older is my favorite character. Bill Pullman was like the young, cool president. You know?
And he was so... And as cheesy as it might be, I may have reposted that president clip.
Oh, everyone
It's
posts that on
so
July
good.
4th,
It's
right?
like it makes me happy to fight aliens.
Top 10 movie speech, I think.
Yeah, I would agree.
I'd put it up there with like Aragorn's speech
Oh, yeah.
and like the King's speech.
Yeah. Fun fact about this movie, and as I'm hoping that my wifey is sitting across the couch from me as I'm watching this for the first time. So the other thing I remember about going to see this movie in the theaters was we went with her parents.
Okay.
Yeah, and her mom after we were left said, "I didn't know that was about aliens."
What did you think?
No, serious.
What did she think it was
We
about?
still.
Oh no, she didn't think it was like a historical movie.
She thought it was about Independence Day, and
I want to know at what point did she realize? Was it the REM song at the very beginning? She's like, I don't think REM was around back then.
I think it was when the spaceship came.
Oh,
It wasn't until then. I was like, oh, I mean, can you imagine sitting down and thinking you're watching a historical drama about Independence Day, and then all of a sudden a spaceship comes in? I mean, she felt so betrayed by all of us because we tricked her into going to see a science fiction movie rather than a historical drama, and we still love you, Mom. I know you're not watching this, but oh my gosh, like still to this day, we use that as it's part of the family lore that comes up all the time about well, you do know that this is a Star Wars movie and it's about things that are in space and whatever. You do know that this is a cartoon about a mermaid, right? I mean, you understand, that
I think you should have just told her it was called ID4, and then maybe she wouldn't have been white as thrown.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, the fact that there was one person on the planet that missed the through point plot line of this movie is fascinating, because that's the point. Like everywhere you went, you had the cover of that VHS.
Right.
Everywhere you went, you had posters, and I mean, you could not miss what was going on with this movie at the time.
So if you haven't seen it in 30 years, give a brief rundown, because I'm not going to lie to you, there's not a lot to this movie.
No. I think you could do it in probably 2 sentences if you really tried.
The log line is essentially aliens come. Jeff Goldblum is a cable guy or works for a satellite. He's the only person that figures out it's aliens. Somehow Will Smith is also a pilot, and he's just like, okay, put the cable guy together, send him in space to knock out the mothership.
Yeah.
Done. Like, the aliens, I guess, had been here like 30 or 40 years before.
Right.
And
We find out, yeah.
We find out that, yes, Area 51 is real. I mean, it was the 90s, X-Files, everything.
So great.
Yeah, everyone was like, the truth is out there. So they had, a specimen that was already there. So they already kind of knew these aliens, but the president didn't know anything.
The scientist was Data from Star Trek.
The scientist was Brent Spiner. Yeah, I'm just trying to. I'm trying to think of like how to make this movie. Like, there's a subplot with Randy Quaid where his kids think he's a doofus, and he is a doofus.
Yeah, he's an alcoholic crop duster. He is
literal crop duster. He just go fart in everybody's face.
Right.
Yeah,
like I mean, he flies a biplane and gets drunk and crop dusts the wrong field.
He claims that he was abducted by those aliens that came all those years ago. No one believes him, and then it's weird because no one still kind of believes him even after the aliens are there.
Yeah, and they steal that ship. The one that I 3D printed on my Bamboo printer, plug for Bamboo, and somehow they're able to deconstruct an advanced technology. Yeah, that's right. Yes, the virus.
Which at the time was like, oh no,
a virus.
Yeah, anyone that used Napster in 2001 probably could have taken out the entire galaxy. But the thing is, like, you go on this thing, and you're like, okay, let's find out the lore about the aliens. Why are the aliens here? And then we get to that big scene, and they're just like, because we just want to destroy you.
Yeah. I mean, we want your water and your food.
There's nothing more to it. They just want to destroy. That's it. So this movie is like the definition of popcorn blockbusters.
For
and
sure.
The director Roland Emmerich would go on to like, you like the absurdity? He would triple down on this. Like by now, this is the same guy that did The Day After Tomorrow, 2012. It just got increasingly ridiculous. He did Godzilla right after this. Remember the one with Matthew Broderick?
That's right.
He got that gig on the strength of this movie. So this was a big deal when it came out.
Yeah.
Now, for our purposes, because we're not a Roland Emmerich show,
we're not a Aliens Take Over the World show, or we kind of are
sometimes.
I also thought it was so cool when they cut open they thought that they were dissecting him, and then it pops
suit.
open and it's just a bio
Well,
suit.
that's how the toy was. It had little clips in the back, and you could like open it, and there was just like a little Gumby type alien in there.
And then those are the big-eyed aliens that we've been seeing for years. It answers all the questions.
But it's also like
it was like a xenomorph on the outside, and then it was like the cute little
which is hilarious because that's the gag that they do in Men in Black 2 years later.
Yeah.
And it's like cute and funny. And here they're supposed to be like, biomech soup. Whatever. This movie's really stupid. I like this movie, but it's stupid. But for our purposes, I feel like we always, in our shows, we tend to try to look through the lens of like who's guilty of this and who's not guilty. I think for this one, it's a little bit more of like, what does the law look like under extreme circumstances?
Okay.
I think that's kind of like the best angle to look at Independence Day because obviously if aliens are coming, they're guilty of a lot of murder and terrorism and a lot of things, and good luck putting one of those.
But what about their
stand.
feelings? I don't know. I'm just kidding.
They don't have feelings. That was the whole point of that scene, was they have no motive beyond just like, I don't know, a great white shark, you know?
Yeah, I guess. They just want to consume.
So, okay. Let's talk about, to me, I think the build-up to that first big VHS cover is like the most interesting part of the movie.
Oh, for sure.
Which is when the ships are kind of arriving and no one is quite sure. And it's like you get some panic and you get a lot of people trying to evacuate. You get some people, like the girl who was in Saved by the Bell, the college years, she's the stripper that goes up on the roof of the building to hold the signs.
Yes,
like,
yes.
What laws or what legal kind of standing does the government have to force people to evacuate I can't say an alien invasion, but like an extreme circumstance like that?
Yeah, and in an extreme circumstance, they do. I mean, they just do. There was recently an incident in Orange County where they were concerned about a possible explosion, gas leak, toxic something. And because of that, they were looking at evacuating several large towns not that far from Disneyland. And when the government makes a decision that for safety reasons, you need to leave, not only do you have to leave, but there are criminal charges if you fail to obey or follow those sorts of orders.
I mean, that's what I was going to ask. Like, what happens if you're just like, well, I've lived in this house for 50 years. I'm not leaving. Yeah,
and it's a perfect plot point in almost every movie. I mean, Titanic, you had people who refused to leave their beds, right? Tear-jerking moments of, old couples dying in the bottom of the bottom of the ship. But one of the most common, us being in California and having the worldwide audience that we do, we have a lot of fires here and we have a lot of evacuations. It's within the last month, there have been evacuations within a 10-mile radius of this studio right here. And so when they tell you have to leave, they actually come door to door. And if you refuse to leave, then law enforcement comes over and says, no, truly, you need to leave. The nice fireman said you needed to leave, and really you need to leave. And then at that point, I haven't seen a case come through Ridley Defense. Our criminal defense law firm has not picked up a case where someone disobeyed an evacuation order. I know for a fact that there are people that do disobey them because I've talked to friends who are like, yeah, until I see flames, I'm not leaving.
Well, not so much in California, but I feel like in Florida, you see a
Yeah.
lot of people that refuse to leave during like hurricanes.
Yeah,
you know?
they're like, I'll just bolt
Tough it out, yeah.
I'll just bolt a steel plate over my windows again,
Yeah.
But
Can they arrest you if you refuse to leave?
they can, the question then becomes, what's the best use of resources?
Sure, yeah.
So are they going to actually take the time and spend the time to take somebody, put them in the back of the squad car as they're trying to clear out all of the smart people that are actually evacuating?
Sure.
I mean, the person who stays and ends up getting themselves in danger or putting themselves in jeopardy is probably not going to be the top of the priority list. But having said that, absolutely, you would be arrested. You could be arrested. Folks at home, if you are ever ordered to evacuate, leave your damn home, because there's a reason for that. And they don't do those things lightly. They know that this is really, really, really challenging. The evacuations that we see in this movie end up causing mass panic and mass hysteria,
Right.
especially near the end when they realize, when Jeff Goldblum figures out it's a countdown.
Cable repairman Jeff Goldblum.
No, but he's really a scientist who dated, the president's assistant, or was married to the president's assistant, right? Yeah.
Convenient. The direct line to the president when you're the only cable repairman that knows how to fix the entire
Well,
world.
he did realize it's a countdown to Armageddon, or what? I don't remember the actual line.
It was checkmate.
Check. Oh,
Yes,
yeah, checkmate.
And then you had, this is our second movie that we've done recently with Harvey Firestein in it, where he's like, I gotta call my mother. Oh no. He's my favorite character in this. Unfortunately, he dies in the explosion.
Well, yeah. And he's got his little dog or whatever with him. And, yeah.
So, I mean, at that point, though, okay, this is Billy hypothetical, TM. I have an elder parent that lives in a place, evacuation order. They won't leave. The cop doesn't arrest them. It's just like, well, if you're not going to stay, I got to go help people that will. They die. Can I sue that cop because he basically claimed Darwinism on my parent?
No, I'm gonna say no.
Okay.
I'm gonna say that in that moment, the emergency exigent circumstances would override everything else. And when you have somebody who's breaking the law and refusing to get to safety, they are then assuming the risk of whatever it is, whether it's a fire or a hurricane or a tornado or an alien death laser from space. Whatever it ends up being, you're assuming that. So it is so difficult to sue the police for a negligent death anyway, when the circumstances are a lot more clear.
Sure,
I think a judge would just throw that out immediately, because that law enforcement officer instead was trying to clear the rest of the block and make sure people weren't trampled and everything else.
Now, I want to be very careful, much like our VHS cover, how we talk about this next segment.
Okay.
I really want to focus on the law as written, the duties of president as we know them constitutionally.
Yes. Okay.
So a little bit into the movie, they realize, like, well, none of our actual fighter jets are able to get through the shield of this thing.
Yeah.
We're going to nuke it.
Yeah.
And as we know, sadly, that ends up not making a dent on them, but it ends up killing a ton of innocent people.
Yeah, I mean, it wipes out.
It was Houston, I think.
Yeah, Houston's gone.
Yeah, somewhere in Texas.
Yeah.
So, how easy legally is it for? I mean, I know they didn't make the decision lightly in the movie, but
Right.
I'm just saying, like, if we wanted to launch a nuke, is that like okay, well, because I know Congress has to approve it. Is that like a week-long thing? Is that like an hour-long thing?
In something like this, when it's an emergency, and I'm going to use the phrase Bill Pullman,
Yes.
because I think that's going to work better for our transcript after the whole thing.
Perfect. Love
So Bill Pullman, when he authorizes the nuke strike,
right.
In that moment, it's the reason why Bill Pullman has powers of commander in chief. And so because he is the head of the military and can make some emergency decisions, he's not making a decision I'm trying to figure out we like using Australia. He's not making a decision to invade Australia.
Sure.
Right. So a long battle, a long campaign, devoting tons of resources, all of those things. These are the things that we need one person to make the decision. And Bill Pullman is that guy. And he's willing to make the tough decisions even when it ends up being the wrong thing. But when Pullman is looking up and trying to figure out, well, what do we got that can stop this? What do we have? The strongest weapon that we have is our nuclear arsenal. So, whether or not he made the right decision or the wrong decision, he did pull the trigger on the largest weapon that we have, the most powerful weapon we have, in a last-ditch attempt to try to stop this.
Well, let me ask you this, because we have this nuclear arsenal, obviously to protect ourselves, whatever. But the thought of creating these, you're basically, it's almost like an amputation, you know, because I guess my question is more like, is Bill Pullman would be authorized as president to do a nuclear strike, but would Bill Pullman be authorized to nuke America?
Right.
Like his own country.
Right. And if it was just, there's a virus, let's switch it up, right? Instead of the ship flying overhead, they dropped a zombie virus on Houston. Let's make it interesting. Sorry, I thought this movie was interesting. I've rewatched it a ton of times. It is bad, and I love watching this movie. But and I love watching it. Even so, like
every July
welcome
4th.
to Earth. I love him punching the alien right in his face, dragging him and kicking. Anyway, I'm sorry.
I'm supposed to be in a barbecue. Will Smith is in a different movie than everyone else.
He is so amazing in this. He's so amazing. And actually, I like the fact that he's solo in a lot of the movie also. But going back, let's say that they dropped a zombie virus on Houston. At that makes it a lot grayer of an area whether or not a president could say, okay, I have to incinerate an entire town full of people, innocents be damned. I think that, could the president technically legally authorize that? I'm sorry. Could Mr. Pullman technically legally authorize that? Yes, he does have that power as commander in chief. But the question would be whether or not the political fallout of doing something like that would be tremendous.
I don't think it happens in this movie, because you're talking about like, really, you kind of would have to stand more on the political fallout than anything else afterwards. But at that point in time, they're not sure whether or not there's even going to be, a United States, a world.
Right,
anything.
Exactly.
So my question is, this comes up a lot in like, especially dystopian type movies, but it's like, well, they declare martial law. Like, what is martial law exactly?
Yeah, what it does is it creates that militaristic police state. It allows them to enact curfews. It allows them to roll tanks up the street. I mean, it really is fairly well depicted in TV and movies. So, that aspect of suspending a lot of freedoms because of some sort of state of emergency. That is what it is. It very rarely in our times gets declared. But I mean, there was some question about whether or not that would happen during COVID,
Right.
and especially when things started getting when there started being more protests and a little bit more violent during COVID. There was talk about that, and so that's the closest that we've come during our times. But then declaring martial law for the purposes of, hey, we are organizing you into a single file straight line to get you the heck out of the city. Totally appropriate and a proper use of that term and a proper use of that power.
I don't think they did it in this movie. 'Cause
No.
they didn't seem like they were organized enough.
No.
try
Well,
to.
and in all fairness to the characters of this movie,
Right.
they didn't have a lot of time to figure it out.
No.
I mean,
unless they had listened to that cable repairman.
if they had only listened to the cable repairman earlier,
Right.
Then they would have had hours more.
Sure.
That was the other thing too about how they got to different places. I'm not as familiar with the geography on the East Coast as I am in Southern California, but it certainly seemed like they got places really fast.
From Washington D.C. to Nevada seemed like it was a couple hours. For them,
I mean, I've had to take some cross country flights in my day, and I certainly had time to read books.
Then again, we don't know how fast Air Force One is capable of going.
This is
That
true.
could be top secret.
Yes. But thanks for filling that plot hole for me, Billy
There
Business.
you go. Yeah. I mean, there's probably like a hyperspace setting that we just don't know about, right?
Yes. Well, and developed on Area 51.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Area 51.
Oh, so cool.
This is the middle part of the movie, kind of the second act of everything. This is where a lot of the characters meet up. This is where Will Smith's character brings that alien that he nabs, the Welcome to Earth alien.
Drags him across the desert on foot and gets there in time.
Does his little Will Smith thing. Oh, you want to see my ID? You want to see? How about this? It's great. But the president doesn't know that this exists. I'm going to guess because it's government funded, that's probably a problem.
Yeah, I think I suspended my disbelief a lot in this movie.
Right.
And I'm really good at suspending my disbelief. All we have to do is look around our studio. We know exactly how much Doug lives in a fantasy world. And in that moment where he said, I didn't know about Area 51, I call bullshit.
Yeah.
I'm like, no. There's no. A new president, I think, gets sat down in a briefing and is like, okay, here's the things that you need to know. Area 51 exists. We have aliens. There's time machines. I mean, I don't know. Whatever. There is a bus. The
bus.
The bus that we talk about. If you'd like a ride on it, we can provide that for you. Show you where it goes. The underground bunkers. I mean, I have to believe that there is. Actually, it's not that I have to believe. It's that I absolutely 100% believe that there are a bunch of things that the American public does not know, that a brand new sitting commander-in-chief needs to know, that they have decided that you and I don't need to know.
I know this. We're not talking about this movie, although we definitely need to at some point. But I think the best way to sum it up is the way that Agent K says it in Men in Black. He says, a person is smart. People are dumb and panicky.
Oh, we got to do Men in Black. That'd be super fun.
I love Men in Black.
There's so many good things about that. But going back to this, this plot line at this part of the movie assumes that there's a portion of the government that knows things that the president doesn't know.
Sure.
And I also believe that could be possible. Does the president need to know every single aspect of what the military knows necessarily? I got to believe that the amount of time it would take just to bring a president up to speed on all of the things that are redacted and have happened over history, would take more than the 4 years that a president is typically in office. So I don't know that it's illegal for the plot line of this movie for there to be an Area 51 that the president doesn't know about. The president's right to be angry about it. The president's right to be, frustrated that there's secret, aspects. The one thing that they do talk about, right, is the funding for it and how they funnel funding illegally from other budget lines. That's a problem, and if there's anything that this Area 51 as it relates to Independence Day does illegally, or highlights an illegal aspect of it, it would be, paying $1 million for an oak toilet seat, in order to divert the funding to alien research.
So, I mean, it's not just the president and Hiller and all them that show up. Like, there's like a fleet of RVs that all kind of storm Area 51.
I mean, that I was going to go to that a few years back when there was a whole movement on let's go to Area 51. Yeah. I was seriously considering let's just I wanted to go just to see what was going to happen.
It was nothing.
I know.
It was like Geraldo opening the
well, that was even a deeper cut than the Area 51.
Okay, so I assume at some point they all get maybe not fully filled in about because not everyone goes into Area 51. It's just our main characters.
Right. But I mean the secret that aliens exist certainly has been resolved.
So then if I'm a taxpayer in my RV, can I sue the government because it's like, oh, you're misappropriating my tax funds?
I suppose so.
I don't know what damages you would claim.
I suppose so. So I mean there are lawsuits that you can file. That's just they call it a private attorney general action, where there's a law that's been broken, and as a private citizen, I'm trying to enforce it. Yeah. It's usually a stretch. It's usually done by attorneys who file thousands of these every year, trying to scoop up some kind of money somewhere. It's not an area of law that I practice. I really focus on my criminal defense practice and nothing else. But a citizen probably could. I think that if citizens could do that, I think we would be hearing a whole lot more about it, like on a regular basis, because there's no question in my mind at all that there is room in federal budgets for other things.
Sure.
So
let's take a look at the other side of this scene, which is the alien that gets dragged in and put on the table, cut open, all that.
One of the best jump scares ever, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I think of like top 5 jump scares in movies, I mean Alien and Aliens has a bunch of those. But this one with that thing jumping open, I mean everyone screams.
I mean
I still jump rewatching it now. I jump every time.
This was one of the first movies that I saw in a theater that even had a jump scare. Because up until this point, I'm 9 years old at this point. Like everything that I'm watching is pretty PG.
Right.
This was like one of my first big boy movies.
Yeah. You're watching like Toy Story.
Yeah. So when that scene came up, I was already kind of like something bad's gonna happen.
Yeah.
But that alien that's there, from the minute it crash lands and Hiller's dragging him in there. Does that alien, once it lands here in Nevada, in America, have any rights? Or is it like, nope, like if I guess like if it was a soldier from Australia, like you couldn't just strap them to a table and like, well, let's cut open the Aussie and see what's inside of them.
Yeah, I mean, for sure not. You couldn't. I think that what we saw happening in this movie, though, was that they believed it was dead. And so they
did. You're right.
I mean, he crashed. He's the biosuit has not moved, has not wiggled at all at this point. It's not until we see like I think it's like the slow curving, like the flexing of the hands that we know something bad's going to happen any second. But performing an autopsy on a body to determine a cause of death, that's not going to be illegal at all. Now they do then take alien and put it in tube, right? Or is it the other, or do they already have an alien in a tube?
They had the one that landed.
Okay,
years
from
ago already
previous.
there.
And
Right.
did it like wake up, or I'm trying to remember
No,
that
so
that
what
plot
happens
point.
is like that alien that you think is dead plays possum.
Okay.
Gets up, wraps its tentacle or whatever
Right.
around Data's neck.
Right.
And then speaks like kind of through him, and then they end up shooting it with a gun after all this. But I guess it shows you that how vulnerable their bodies are
Yeah.
without this big mech suit.
Yeah.
And they kill it.
Yeah. And so, at that point, they're also trying to save a life, right? So there's an argument there that maybe they're just killing the enemy. But at that point also, the alien has made its intentions super clear. We just want you to die.
Yeah.
We're here to take all your water. All of the reasons why they were here were made clear, and they were an enemy combatant at that point. But having said that, saving Data's life, you can certainly shoot a person to save somebody else's life.
Let's assume for a minute that they didn't think it was dead, that somehow they had captured a live one. Like, do they have any, like, I know it's tough because it's like, well, actually I was going to say, we don't have any, like, procedures for extraterrestrials. I 100% think they do have procedures in place.
I think they do.
So
yeah, I think they do. But having said that, is it with that? Let's say that it came in and was moving, but injured or something along those lines, and we just wanted to start carving it open, knowing that it was alive and sentient. I think it would surprise me if there was a law on the books about that, because that would necessitate acknowledging that the alien exists.
You just popped a question into my head.
Okay.
You said there's no law on the books. Is there laws that exist that are off book?
Well, if they are, then I would say they're probably not laws as much as they are procedures.
Okay.
Rules. Typically, when we talk about laws, we talk about things that are in the books. Mm-hmm. So, but military protocol, that top secret military protocol, wouldn't necessarily be in the books, where I could access it.
Well, then how could you ever get court-martialed for something that's like there's no... I guess there is written record, but it's just like, doesn't that get kind of dicey at a certain point?
There's an entire military code of conduct that is in a book. Mm-hmm. So most of court martials would be subject to that. If Data all by himself was carving up a live alien and broke a military protocol, then I would imagine the process would have to be, some sort of warning, some sort of acknowledging, hey, you broke the secret law not to carve on a alien body.
How would his lawyer? How does that even work? If a soldier does something wrong, or someone in the military does something wrong during a top secret mission, well, then you have to bring in a lawyer, right? If they're court-martialed. So then now you have to tell another person more top secret stuff.
And there are levels of judge advocates, the JAGs, who their job is to work on super sensitive top secret issues. If someone is, when we talk about top secret, when we talk about people that are engaging in that kind of activity, we're talking about a very small group of people, right? And so someone who breaks a rule on something that would be considered top secret would still be entitled, arguably, to some sort of a military tribunal, some sort of a trial, some sort of administrative hearing or procedure or something like that, and they would be entitled to counsel. And I would imagine, not knowing this for a fact, but I would imagine that the number of JAGs that are assigned to those kinds of cases are few and far between. It's probably the best of the best of the best, and a very, very small circle who have that level of top secret clearance so that they can know that stuff.
I want to get into some of these fan questions because I think because this movie is not heavy on plot, there are just like a lot of kind of rapid fire kind of.
I love those.
So this is a great one. Is the president allowed to actually personally fly into combat? Because as we know, Bill Pullman at the end gets into his own fighter jet. He used to be in the Air Force. And, you know, he's up there in the final battle.
Yeah. The answer is yes.
Okay.
And because Bill Pullman is the commander in chief of the armed forces, it's not like someone else could get him in trouble for doing that.
Sure.
So because he is at the top of the chain, if he decides he wants to fly in, even though everyone's going to tell him, no, don't, we need you and whatever, his decision that they need every available fighter pilot.
Right.
Plus it makes for just a kick-ass scene.
Oh,
so like,
yeah. I mean, come on. Bill Pullman did that amazing speech and then was like, all right, go get him, team, and just sat down with a Bud Light. Yeah, I think that would be...
Yeah, I mean, him strapping in and being like, all right, let's go into battle. I mean,
I know his advisors are like, don't do this.
Right.
And he's just like, what else am I supposed to do?
Right. Well, and there's a lot of precedent throughout history for our best leaders leading the charge rather than sitting back in the tent.
Sure.
And so, you know, that's who he's being. That's why we're cheering for him as much as we are.
Now, this doesn't happen explicitly on screen, but this question is, can the government seize private property during the alien invasion? I'm going to think they're mostly talking about like that first half, you know, maybe up until the they're not bombs, but the laser beams start destroying everything.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of what type of like an actual
car,
building, a car,
or something. You know?
Yeah, those emergency exceptions in that extreme emergency situation. Yeah, they can commandeer a car.
One of the subplots of the movie is like the first lady is off on her own. Now she gets on a helicopter, and unfortunately, she doesn't make it out alive from the movie. But let's say I'm in my car, I'm trying to evacuate, and Secret Service pulls me over and says, "Nope, the first lady needs this car," and just kicks me out. Can they do that?
Yeah.
Wow, that sucks.
It does. but yeah, they can.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I
I'd
mean,
be like, can I come with you at least?
Right,
you know?
I'll ride in the trunk. My God,
of my car.
Let me go. But yeah, they can, and especially I keep going back to this, but especially under this level of emergency circumstances. But if Bill Pullman's wife was in was in danger and they needed to ram cars to get her out of the way, you know, their number one job is protecting that person above all others.
Sure.
And that's what the Secret Service is charged to do.
This one's interesting, and it played into the sequel, which I did not see because I heard it was one of the worst movies ever. But if the aliens leave technology behind, who owns it?
Ooh. It's probably finders keepers.
Really?
So, you know, if they leave it behind and the government wants it, they're going to claim military reasons. They're going to claim national security reasons. And, you know, if there's a rifle that you have, if there's a laser gun that you have, and they know that Billy has a laser gun from the alien invasion and they want to come and take it from you, then they're lawfully going to come and take it for you for national security, military purpose, you know, all of those governmental reasons.
Sure, right.
You know, if it's something bigger, then it would be harder for you to keep it, right? I mean, like the fighter saucer that Will Smith ends up taking up, you know. I don't have a place to store that. I mean, I store a lot of stuff, but I don't have a place to keep a spaceship.
Sure,
you know.
Yeah.
So
I don't think Rory would let you keep it in the garage.
No, well, God, she might, honestly. but what, you know, where we see this is in some of the ancillary Marvel shows,
Right.
dealing with the Battle of New York and the Satari invasion. And
that's the whole thing in Homecoming, Spider-Man Homecoming,
Yeah.
with Michael Keaton's character.
exactly is them doing that. And there's a lot that there are some other shows that deal with that in some way as well. People finding discarded tech and getting in trouble with it, and can the government take it? So the answer generally is going to be, if the government wants the stuff, I think you either give them the stuff or you end up on the bus.
Don't
Yeah.
want to be on that bus.
Yeah.
Actually, you might want to be on that bus. There's some pretty cool people on that bus.
We've talked about a lot of cool
Yeah.
people that end up on that bus.
Sit next to Indiana Jones and Miles Dyson.
Right, exactly.
All right, this one. Could an insurance company legally deny your claim by citing the alien attack as an act of war?
Or an act of God.
Yeah, act of God. I think is
Yeah,
probably-
because I mean, my experience and opinion of insurance companies is maybe not as high as podcast YouTube show hosts.
What do they consider an act of God? Like a
Yeah, like hurricanes, lightning, earthquakes, those sorts of things.
well, here in California, you buy separate earthquake insurance,
Right,
You know,
which specifically insures for it.
I mean, maybe like Progressive should start offering alien insurance.
Alien invasion insurance, ID4 insurance, just in case there's a laser beam that comes
If it
down
was
in the middle of your house.
$20, I would probably be like, yeah, sure, why not? You know?
Yeah, why not? I mean, I could just have 2 less cups of coffee a month.
Okay, I want to end with this question because actually this goes back to a little bit what I was saying about the alien rights. If a surviving alien wanted political asylum, could it apply? It was like, hey, that was my uncle that did that thing to Brent Spiner. It wasn't me.
I'm
cool.
I'm sure Zach 5, and
Yeah.
I'm really nice.
I love baseball and apple pie. I would love to stay here. If you guys are cool.
I think this place is awesome. Either here or Australia, one way or one place or another. Could they apply for asylum? I'm going to say yes, under the same asylum rules as anybody else who would come here and apply for asylum. I would say there's a very, very good argument for incorporating that. And this was something we talked about at length in our Superman episode.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Superman is the best example of a kindly alien that we granted asylum to. So if they're as nice as Superman, and maybe decide not to use the xenomorph exoskeleton, thing that they have going on. I mean, the internal ones were kind of cute. So why not?
And look, if the Mandalorian and Grogu taught us anything, it's that like Jabba's son doesn't want to be a bad guy.
Right.
Maybe the Area 51 alien's son is like, that's my dad. That's not me.
Right, exactly.
I
Don't
like
judge me
humans.
by my dad. I mean, I had a bunch of people try to beat me up because they found out I was Schlizzlack 4's dad. or Schlizzlack 4 was my dad, or anyway. I don't know where I came up with Schlizzlack.
Yeah.
But
I feel like you're dangerously close to either something perverted or a racial slur.
Oh no! Okay, well then we'll ease off. I was thinking also, if I repeated it twice, how the YouTube translate would end up.
the auto transcribe?
Yeah, like what the captioning would look like. I'm fascinated to see how they're going to spell it.
Yeah. I mean, technology is crazy.
Schlizzlack 5.
Schlizzlack. Yeah. The technology in this movie, I gotta say, like, the effects, they're not terrible.
No,
for a
no.
30-year-old movie, they're not terrible. This
No,
was
they're
like
still not
right
bad.
before CGI.
Yeah.
Like we switched to CGI, but we weren't ready to do the full switch.
Yeah.
So there's like those handful of like 1997, 1998
Yeah.
movies like Spawn,
Oh,
that
yeah.
just were like, oof,
Yeah,
that's
those are
terrible.
bad. But I mean, a lot of the building destruction effects that were in this movie were practical effects. I
And they
mean,
still look great.
And I remember watching. They slowed down the camera so that it looked like the explosion happened slower,
Right.
and so it was bigger. And I agree with you completely.
I mean, this movie, it's not a good movie. It's way too long, and yet I watch it every year. Like on at least on July 2nd, 3rd, or 4th, I will watch this movie every single year.
It's definitely worthwhile doing. Although I will have to say the one aspect that you pointed out that now after filming the episode, I'm going to have to go check out. I had completely erased from my mind that there was a sequel, and so I'm not 100% sure if I've seen it. So I might have to go watch that now.
Jeff Goldblum is in it. Will Smith is not.
Maybe. So it's kind of like Jurassic Park 2: Lost World.
Yeah, although
Jeff Goldblum's last star standing.
You had Spielberg shepherding one of those two movies, so I'm gonna guess that is it ID42 or ID5?
I don't know. That'd be great. Maybe I have to watch it on the 5th of July rather than the 4th of July.
I think you get about 5 minutes in. Maybe they call it ID5 because you get ID 5 minutes into it. You're like, no, I'm good. I got it. Well, if you guys got further than 5 minutes into this video, thanks. There's a lot more right here on the channel. Please give us a like, subscribe, leave a comment of something you want us to do later on. If you want to listen to us, you can go to Apple Podcasts or Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Doug, 1 year anniversary.
Yeah. We've done a lot of cool stuff over the course of a year.
This is like episode 40 some odd. Yeah, we've done a lot of episodes.
Yeah.
Done a lot of episodes. We're going to do a lot more.
Yeah. The last half of this year is going to be epic.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Dunes Day. Yeah, it's going to be pretty crazy.
Yeah.
If you're in the States, happy 4th of July this weekend. Please be safe. If you're not in the States, be safe also, but have a good weekend. We will see you guys. We're not here next Monday, but we'll be back the following week. Unless you're watching this 5 months from now, then just go watch anything that we put up. We'll see you guys later.
Welcome to Earth.